Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Huge announcement on here. I've just gotten 5,000 subscribers and truthfully I'm fucking amped. This is a pretty crazy moment for me because when I started this literally 6 months ago, I was kind of just fucking around. And I've actually had a YouTube channel before, fun fact, and it got a little bit of traction. I had over 1,000 subscribers, but at the end of the day, it's hard to just kind of stay very persistent with something and keep it going, and that's kind of the theme of this video. And so, as much as I like to portray myself as a two-plate benching, 8-inch cocked Giga Chad who works for Google, all of which is true, by the way, it is in fact true that I do fail sometimes. And so, I've gotten increasing comments these days of people in, watching my videos that are basically telling me of interviews that, they either thought they did well upon, but ultimately it didn't work out for them, or they just weren't as prepared. So at least, from my heart to yours, I want you to take this video as a reminder that you can fail and in the end still succeed, and that failure is ultimately just a small roadblock and is something that you need to ultimately learn from, iterate on, and get better. So the first thing I'm going to do as part of this video is show you exactly how many roles I've applied to before eventually getting my offer at Google, which is the last one that I've accepted. And then we can talk about failure in general and what it takes to really overcome failure and, improve upon yourself as a result of it. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a screen share here. I can't believe I've actually been doing this and I'm going to make something out of it, but I guess at least since my sophomore year of college, I've made a spreadsheet of the places that I applied. And I'm not so anal that I actually ended up completely filling them out with all of the offers that I got or didn't get, but at least for a lot of roles, I put tentative places down that I wanted to apply to, and for most of them, I actually did end up applying. I didn't even do this for my freshman year, so I can't even say exactly how many roles I applied to in totality, and even in high school, I applied to a few jobs. So let's imagine that, in freshman year, I applied to, say, 100 roles, because it would probably be similar to the volume of my sophomore year. I had absolutely no leads freshman year, and truthfully, I ended up getting lucky and getting something through a connection. But the truth of the matter is my sophomore year internship, I got kind of devoid of that. It was a connection that I made through my freshman year that ultimately they only ended up giving me that offer later. So with that in mind, let's start going through my sophomore year roles. And I got rejected from a lot of places. So let's check it out. So right off the bat here, look at me just dropping a ton of companies. Truthfully, I haven't even heard of many of these. And I guess I was going through my school's handshake. So 150 places are on this list. And as you can see, I have that yes column there, which means I've applied to freaking most of them. So right off the bat, let's imagine that, I probably applied to 100 places freshman year, got one offer. Same thing sophomore year, applied to over 100 places, 125 even. And similarly, I got one offer, which I accepted. Then let's go over to my junior year applications. These were pretty big for me because, ultimately I, kind of felt that wherever I ended up working after my junior year for my internship, I would work there in whole. So I really went seriously on these. And, I didn't work for a particularly big company sophomore year, so I wanted to make sure that I got something that I was really into junior year. As you can see, again, on this list, I have literally 100 applications. I've said where I've put all of them, and I even say the result for a lot of them. And as you can see, if you want to pause during this video, a lot of it's me just being like, I fucked up the hacker rank. And truthfully, because of the way that this feedback was, you can see in my senior year, when I apply to a lot more places for full-time roles, I do better on a lot of these coding exams. And I'm still not perfect by any means, but, I knew that I had to improve upon that. So this is my senior year. I had a full-time Amazon offer at this point, but ultimately I wanted to look for different places just to experiment around. I'm a greedy fuck, so that's just how it goes. And I kind of bleached out my referral column here because I don't want to give any names away, but if I did have a referral, they would be in here. Basically, look at that, another 60 companies. Now, at this point, I knew I had an Amazon offer, so I only really wanted to apply to companies that would be more interested than Amazon. But I mean, right off the bat, right here, I've literally showed you guys that I've applied to basically 250 different roles from these 3 spreadsheets, plus another 100 from my freshman year, and then probably another like 20 to 30 in high school. So in totality, we're looking at almost 400 roles that I've applied for. And at the end of the day, I've maybe gotten 6 or 7 offers, and some of them are from really flashy companies, right? It's a really amazing thing. But at the end of the day, I've had to get, rejected by so many of these. And even though a lot of them were just, I never moved on from the resume screening stage, at the end of the day, I've failed plenty of coding interviews too. I'm not perfect. And every single time, I had to go ahead and iterate on why it is that I failed and get better than that. So I guess I'll explain my process for doing so in the following section. Okay, so one thing that I really learned, I guess especially during my junior year of college, those round of interviews that I did, was that I was brutally unprepared lead code wise. I could solve some medium problems, but I would say 75% of them I really didn't have a great shot at. And I learned this a lot because I was so eager to apply that I would just get all of these HackerRank questions and I would take a look at them and I just couldn't solve them in time. And so ultimately I did luck out. You know, it is the truth that sometimes people just luck out, and I was able to get an Amazon internship. I was given questions that I was at least semi-familiar with and able to solve. But at the end of the day, I knew that I really, really had to improve. So the summer after my junior year, I spent so much more time lead coding and making sure that I was actually a lot more capable of solving these problems, such that when senior year came around, I was actually, you know, getting to the point where I did really well at these. I passed my FANG interviews. I was able to get an offer at Google. I was able to get an offer at Facebook, amongst other places. And this was really nice. But even then, you know, I still failed a lot of interviews during my senior year. There were a ton of trading companies that I just felt like I got absolutely reamed by. Like, you know, asking real operating systems fundamentals, systems design questions on distributed systems. Even in a Robinhood interview, which I passed, which was basically to design a job scheduler, the only reason that I passed that was because I had done something similar in my actual junior year internship. And so what I basically learned was I kind of decided the next thing I had to study, because I knew that, okay, at this point I'm getting pretty good at lead code problems. I can solve maybe 75% of mediums when they're asked to me, and obviously at some point I'm going to get unlucky and I'm going to brick an interview and it happens, and, you know, it sucks when it happens. But in terms of, you know, how I can really optimize myself for future interviews, I knew that, you know, continuing to study lead code, getting insanely good at competitive programming was not going to give me as much of an output on my time as systems design. And so what you see is that's honestly why I started this channel. So after that round of interviews of my senior year of college, which was, you know, in the fall, say, during the winter, I really started to crack down and study systems design in my spare time. And that's more or less why I started this channel in the first place. It's me going ahead, looking at my weaknesses in interviewing and iterating on those. And similarly, that's what I'm continuing to do. Every single time that, you know, I fail in life, I have to make sure to think about what it is that went wrong and how I can do better. And so, you know, obviously, software engineering is by no means easy to get, but like many other things, with persistence, you're capable of doing it. And I really mean that for every one of you. I mean, there are a lot of these jobs, and you don't have to be some sort of rocket scientist in order to get them. Never get down on yourself about a failed interview, because I assure you there have been many interviews where I've come out of them and said, damn, I'm really not good enough for this role. And the truth of the matter is, I have proven to myself, you know, at least individually, that if I really put the time and effort into these things and study and really, really put your all into it, you actually can pass these interviews. You know, there have been times where I was shocked because I was like, how is it that other people are passing these tests when, you know, I feel like I'm a smart person and I'm completely dumbfounded by what's going on? Well, the truth of the matter is that maybe they studied. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they are a super genius. But that doesn't mean that you can't study and you can't be motivated and you can't push through and do well. Like every other thing in life, interviews and job interviews and getting a good job is all just a law of large numbers. Okay? You know, you're going to be applying to a bunch of things. There's some probability P that you're able to pass the interview. And the more that you apply to, the more likely that you are to get at least one offer. So obviously, the two things you can control are how many jobs you apply to and your personal probability P of being able to pass an interview. So obviously, you want to get both of those as high as humanly possible, and at least that's what I've been trying to do throughout my career and whatnot. Obviously, I'm now looking for more weaknesses in myself in order to iterate on those, and a lot of them are starting to even pop up within my software engineering career. I know what it is that I need to work on, you know, in my day-to-day job, such that I might be able to get promoted faster, and even I have a sense of, you know, if I want to interview for higher levels, what types of behavioral stories I might need to be able to tell to prove to them, say, that I'm the next level up than just a junior engineer. And so, yeah, guys, I mean, that's really all it is. I told you I was just being a lazy bum because I'm about to go out and get hammered. But, you know, 5,000 subscribers special. Maybe at subscriber milestones I'll do some personal videos about me, because generally I don't love to do these. But, you know, it's nice to kind of connect with you guys over this. I'd love to hear your personal interview stories. And for those viewers of mine who are watching this and maybe have just failed an interview, or, you know, are watching because they're just trying to push through and get that first job, or that, you know, in this case, probably mostly the second level of jobs, you know, don't be discouraged. You're very, very capable and very smart and easily able to kill these interviews. You just have to put your head down and grind. And that's really all it is. Obviously, you know, you want to be smart with your time. Like I've said, don't be redundant with what you're studying. The entire point is that in failing interviews, you can detect where your weaknesses are and you can optimize on your time to study the most efficiently. It's all about just getting that probability of passing a single interview up and then doing enough of them until you get the job that you want. Anyways, guys, have a good one. I know this is a little bit more serious of a video, but, you know, fuck it. And yeah, I appreciate all of you guys, and interacting with all of you in the comments has made doing this channel really fun. I got a comment saying, why am I making videos if I'm not getting that many views? And the reason is because I enjoy hearing from you guys and I enjoy teaching you guys. So have a great fucking evening and enjoy your weekends, guys.